Hi, good afternoon, everybody. This is Eric. I'm with American Business Systems and wanted to welcome you this afternoon. Today, let me share with you about the topic of what we're going to be talking about today. It's basically is this: is starting a business in healthcare the right move for you? Now, Patrick and I today will go over several different topics, several different questions that you may be asking yourself, some questions you never even thought of. Let me introduce you to the co-host of today, and that is our founder and CEO. That's Patrick Phillips. He is not only the founder and CEO, but he is also the chairman of MERMA. That is the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. This is very important because this is where you're going to be getting your certification from. He is also the member editor of the editorial board of BC Advantage magazine, and he's also a best-selling author to these books that you see right here. So, listen, without any further ado, I'm going to bring Patrick on here. Patrick, let's go ahead and get you on here, kid. We've got so much to do this afternoon.
Wow, this is such an important topic for those of you who are thinking about getting into your own business. There's sometimes reasons why people hesitate, to do that. And so we wanted to cover the things that might be holding you back in your own head, because if there was ever a time in America that you should be starting a business, it is right now.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, Patrick, you and I were talking earlier about how we've just seen the economy boom. And with that, I mean, more people are starting their own businesses. Gosh, it's just amazing how people are looking at any types of businesses. But really, we're really talking about healthcare today. I mean, there's so many things that are going on with healthcare. You would think that some of it may have died off, but it is just increasingly more exciting as we go forward.
Eric, I've always said that as long as there's human beings, as long as they get sick, as long as they go to a doctor to get well, somebody has to bill somebody to get paid so the doctor can get paid. And so people who outsource, do the outsourced billing for the doctors, as you'll see today, folks, is a very profitable business to be in. If you're considering a business, believe me, just take a look at this. Don't prejudge this at all. You don't need any background or training whatsoever to be in this business, and we're going to show you that today.
You bet. Now, folks, I've had some of you type in your city and state where you're located. I want to remind you that is the question box. So although we've got questions here for you today that we're going to go through and answer some of those, let us hear from you. If there's something that we hit and it kind of strikes your memory bank here of wanting to ask a question, feel free to do that. We'll take all the questions we can today. Patrick, I know that one of the things that we're going to talk about here is what are some of the obstacles that may be hindering somebody from moving forward, or just some of the things that I guess some of these things that we've known that everybody really asks these questions. One of them is, I don't have enough money to get started in the business or any business.
All right. And since we're going to cover each one of these in detail, why don't we just pop through these right quick, Eric, and just kind of let people see that you do not want to miss this webinar, any part of it today, because if you've had questions about any of these things, I don't have enough time, I'm working a full-time job, I'm unclear about the details of setting up a business, my friends and relatives say I shouldn't start my own business, I know nothing about sales and marketing, setting up a website seems overwhelming. I like a particular industry but have no background or training in it. I don't know anyone who could advise and support me once I get the business started. I don't want to hire and deal with employees. I don't want to be confined to a particular territory. What if I get started and don't like the business? We're going to address every one of these, theoretically, in this hour.
As much as we can, there's no doubt that we're going to try to get those. And again, folks, if we're missing something here, put the question over there. We'll do what we can to get that started. All right, so first of all, Patrick, this is probably one of the biggest ones right here. People feel like they just don't have what this is, any money.
Yeah, that's a big obstacle. I tell people, look, if you haven't set aside funds to get your own business started, there are some options. Even though we as a company don't finance our business opportunity package, our license fee, there are ways to come up with cash that you may not even be thinking about. So, Eric, let's start with this very first one. This is a good one here that people don't sometimes think about doing a secured or unsecured loan.
Right. I mean, depending upon, obviously, anybody's credit score is going to put them in a category whether they're going to have an unsecured loan or a secured loan. A secured loan is going to probably be some of the things that we're going to be talking about anyway, which is maybe a home equity loan, some things that are backed up by that loan. Unsecured loans are for people really that have pretty good credit, and there's a lot of people that have great credit out there, but they can find to get the investment of $26,000 to get this business started. I know that ours is kind of on the low end of a lot of the business opportunities out there, but still, you know, in anybody's world, $26,000 to $30,000 is still a lot of money.
Yeah, and people don't realize that if they've been doing business with a bank for any period of time, they can go in and just get a personal loan for any reason. I mean, there's lots of reasons people get personal loans: to remodel their bathroom or their kitchen, to add on a patio, all kinds of stuff that you know, people borrow money for. So banks are open to that as long as you have decent credit. But the one thing they don't want to do, of course, is do what? Apply for a small business loan. You have some experience with that, don't you, Eric?
We sure do. As you know, and gosh, I've known our family for as long as you've known them. You know, our son's a banker, and he has told both you and I that if someone's looking to get started in this business and they want to try to get a loan, when you go to the bank, as soon as you say, hey, I want to start a small business, they're going to hand you a pile of papers to fill out.
Yeah.
Then they're going to want a business plan. And what they're looking for, have you been in this industry for at least 2 years? Now, you know, and I know that most people are getting this for the very first time. They don't know anything about medical billing.
Right.
So that bank is going to go, nah, we don't want to, you know, you're too big of a risk.
Yeah.
Personal loans are the best way to go. And in that way, they're not asking you. And it's 2 or 3 sheets, and it's really off of your credit, like we've already said.
Yeah, and you know, folks, you don't realize that sometimes a banker is just dealing with you as an individual anyway. They don't really care what you do with the money as long as they think that you're going to pay it back.
Right. Yes, you bet. And can you pay it back? And so obviously, if you've got, you know, pretty good credit and you've got maybe some things to back it up, obviously is one of the ways to go. Now, Patrick, a lot of people think, well, if I don't go to the bank, or you know, if you're telling me not to go to the bank and get a small business loan, what about the Small Business Administration? What has been your experience since 23 years of being in this business and seeing people?
I've had a few people actually go and try to get through that process. And you talk about a stack of paperwork. Now, that is a government, you know, red tape thing. It's huge, but they're looking for, usually for businesses that are, you know, $100,000 or more. They're not going to loan probably the $26,000 that our license fee is, or, you know, even $30,000. So we just tell people, look, if you really think that you are going to go get a loan from the Small Business Administration, you better start right now, and you'll figure it out real fast that that's not the way to go.
So basically, so far what we've shared with you is boy, how do you get this money? I mean, obviously, we want to try to break through that, because some people have the capital, Patrick. They have, you know, the money. But let's just start off with one of the biggest ones where we find most people to get started, and that's with credit cards.
Yeah, you know, Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad author, he says that a huge number of small businesses in the United States start by financing themselves, basically by using their own credit line on their credit cards. And, you know, you can put it on 1 credit card or 4 credit cards, it doesn't matter, because if you have the ability to use those credit cards to fund your own business, that is perfectly acceptable in today's world. It's done by many, many small businesses, very successful businesses as well. So, of course, the interest is a little bit higher on a credit card like that, but it's a no-brainer as far as being able to obtain what you need to get, you know, involved in a business. And we can put our license fee on as many cards as you need to. So that is a personal credit line that you have that you may not realize you have. So there's even a website there that Eric's put up there to go see about that. If you don't have any credit cards, you can apply for a dozen of those or more.
I'll just circle that right there. Yeah, personal. You can go to creditcards.com. We actually have that on our website, so you can certainly go check that out right there and go find it. And the good thing about this, Patrick, is with credit cards, usually since it's maybe somewhat of a revolving credit, you know, you're not kind of tied in with a particular time frame of having to pay that back. Now, obviously, the more that you have there, maybe the longer interest you're going to have on that. So get it paid off. But we're also seeing some of our licensees get their first doctors within their first year, and they're having their entire what they've invested, their return on investment done in 1 year anyway. So this is a good general way to get that done.
Eric, you haven't heard this yet because we're still editing this, but we did an interview recently, I did, over the phone with one of our licensees who went through training, I think last summer. And he says on the interview, he says that I received my return on this investment with my first doctor.
Wow.
And he gives the figures to justify that. So here's another way, folks, that a lot of people don't think about this, but you may have equity in your home. If you've been living in your home for any period of time, you've got what's called equity, which means it's a built-up value that the bank would loan you back on your own home. So that's one way that a lot of folks have raised the funds to get into business.
Yeah, and that's one of those secured loans that we were talking about, is backed up by basically your own equity that you have in your home anyway. So I know, Patrick, we've got a few folks that are in this class coming up, and some folks that are coming to the class in January that are doing that. They're pulling a little bit of their equity out of their home to get the business started. So this is obviously a great way of doing that. Now, we've got partners that we work with, and one of them is called Guidant Financials. Patrick, you want to talk a little bit about Guidant Financials?
Yeah, if you've got a 401k, for example, folks, that in your current job or a previous job even that rolled over, Guidant actually helps you set up a special type of entity for a business and use those funds to finance that business. So it's without penalties that you would normally pay to get money out of a 401k. So we've got a website there that you can also copy. By the way, I know some of these websites are hard to see, but folks, we've actually put all of these slides in PDF format in the handout section of GoToWebinar. So you can download that right now while we're speaking. Look over there in the handout section and just download that, and then be able to look at these tiny website links up close there.
So what we're doing, yeah, so we have that site right here. You can go to our website, go to how much does it cost, click on that, and then go to right here where it says funding information, and then that funding resource, you'll find the credit cards link and Guidant Financials. If you want to have someone look over your home and see if you have enough equity, we've got someone there too as well that you can take a look at there as well.
Now, Eric, there's some questions that have come in. Yep. Let me just look at a couple here. One of them is from Mike. I'm not sure when he asked this question and whether he's referring to the 401k or not, but it says, is it modeled for individual contribution-oriented business? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, Mike. You might want to clarify that for us. Eric, does that make any sense to you in relationship to what we're talking about there?
Yeah, I'm not real sure, but you can try that. I know that the one right above it, Jaya Perkins, hopefully I've said your name right, completely interested in getting linked with ABS. He says, I started my practice and I've got one provider at the moment, consulting with a few more. I feel that my business needs the extra push, however money to invest in ABS is my concern at the moment. So okay, hopefully. Yep.
So here's an example, and as you know, we've had many people who are already in the medical billing business. They started their own business and then didn't really know how to get the thing off and running. We had one lady that had been in for like 7 years and still only had about 3 clients. So once she went through our training, she had 11 clients within the next few months. So Jai, that's a very great question. We should probably point you back to the person who sent you the email inviting you to this webinar. We call them your business coach, and if you don't know who that is, just call us up or email us, and we'll put you in contact with that person to find out how you can do some funding to get involved with us. Yeah,
you bet. Yeah. And Mike was asking, how much do I need to put on a card? And it kind of goes along with another question I think Josh is asking. How much is paid, and is it all due in one payment? You want to talk about that? Do we take installments? You want to talk about that real quickly before we move on?
Yeah, Eric, go back to that previous slide, and let's just point one time there. You might want to circle it. There is a place on our website there about, how much does it cost. In fact, that red arrow is pointing to that. this is a license fee, folks. It's not like a franchise. There's no territories and there's no ongoing royalties or anything, but there's a one-time licensing fee for learning our system, going through our live training workshop here in Dallas for a week, and then lifetime support after that. We include marketing materials and all sorts of stuff in our package, but it's a $26,000. I think I mentioned that earlier. And yes, that has to be paid up front, or again, you can put it on credit cards, as many of those as you need to raise that funding. But it does need to be funded before you come to the live training. That's because we give a money-back guarantee that we'll talk about here in just a moment.
Yeah, you bet. I think, Patrick, that takes care of all the questions concerning financing and the cost and all that. So, but folks, if you got any other questions, feel free to put that over there. We'll check back with that a little bit later. Now, this is another question that we get is a lot of people, Patrick, already have a full-time job, and they're just going, how could I get this started working a full-time job? I'm already working 40-plus hours a week. So, you know, it's a fair question to ask.
You know, Eric, you know that I've interviewed lots of our licensees who have started their business and gotten clients and are very successful, and then I interview them. And those are all out there on our blog. They're on the website. They're under news. But I can't count how many people that I've talked to who started this business part-time. That is, they were working a full-time job, and they still got this business going with the secrets that we teach. The reason for that is because we know that there are many, many people out there in your community that can connect you with the doctors. You don't have to go out and knock on any doors to find your first client. We're going to show you how to do that in our live training workshop. That's part of the training that you go through. Eric, you know that our previous instructor that we've had Cynthia now for about 3 years, I think. Prior to that, we had an instructor who was working about a 60-hour-a-week job, working in a cubicle as an IT person, and outside of her work hours, she figured out how to start this business. So we're going to share all of those secrets with you guys. Believe me, there is a way to do that. Again, when you come through our workshop, you'll learn a lot about that, and then if you don't like it and don't feel like it's right for you, then again, we have a money-back guarantee.
You bet. So, folks, you're going to learn, as we say right here in the first bullet point, you're going to learn to work at your pace. The only one that's probably pressuring you to get the first client is yourself. So, you know, it's nobody else. We're not going to pressure you, although we're eager to help you in through the support mechanisms that we have. But I think sometimes if you do this and you do it right and you've got a clear vision. I'm working with someone right now, Patrick, that has a clear vision, is in this situation, full-time position, wants to work out of that full-time position, get one doctor, get two doctors. Once they got that second doctor, then at that point they know that they can switch gears and back away from that. So, you know.
And as you know, Eric, most franchises cost a whole lot more, of course, than our opportunity does. But they want you have to be full time. Now, we don't encourage anybody to quit their jobs, folks, because that's not necessary. With this business, you can build it in your spare time, and we'll show you exactly how to do that outside of regular business hours and on the weekend. There are ways to do that. So, and then of course you can always hire sales reps. We're going to mention that here in just a second, a little bit in more detail, to do all the marketing for you. Just bring you the contract signed, ready to go, and you can again do all the data entry off hours.
Right.
You know, ours is a cloud-based system. So the internet's open 24/7. You can do this at 3 a.m. in the morning if that fits your schedule.
It's right. And this line right here kind of helps get this picture going. Many doctors can't even be seen during regular business hours anyway. They're seeing patients.
Yeah.
So if you've got a doctor, that's even better, because if you're starting to do billing for a doctor, you're not going to want to bother them during the day anyway. You're going to be doing the billing either after their hours or maybe the next day following. But if you can't go see them right away, visit them. We know a lot of folks that visit and made their appointments before the day started or after the day ended.
Yes, we'll show you how to connect with doctors in such a way and build such credibility with them that they'll want to. They'll call you up and say, please, can you come meet me at 7 a.m.? Well, hey, I can meet a doctor anytime they want me to come over there. Eric, if I needed to, I would go get a checkup at a new doctor once a week and just pay for the checkup. I'm guaranteed to have at least 5 minutes with him.
You bet. And we know that we're working on a solution that's actually going to have doctors have that opportunity, be able to contact our brand new licensees and working some, this what we've got working is going to be perfect for people who want to start this part-time. Shh. Did somebody say something?
Eric is so anxious about this new thing that we're working on right now, folks. We're constantly coming up with new methods, new marketing ideas, and new services that you can offer to the doctor. But I'm with Eric. This one it's a doozy, and it will help you get right knee to knee, eyeball to eyeball with somebody in the office that will talk to you about this particular service. Even if the doctor thinks that their billing is under control, they have other problems. They have other problems. That's why we have other services that you can offer to doctors. 6 other ones right now. This one will be the 7th. That will get you right inside that office. But once you're past the glass, that's what I call it, Eric. Let's show them how to get past the glass. And when they get past that glass, man, there's just nothing you can't do as far as offering your services there to the doctor. You're on the inside. You're an insider. You're not an outsider.
You bet. Okay, so Ruby's asking this question, and Ruby's from California. Good to have you here this afternoon. How do you contact doctors for us? You want to answer that one, Patrick?
Well, let me just put it this way. We're going to teach you in this week-long training class about a dozen different ways to connect with doctors. Now, folks, think about it this way. If we set up the doctors and set the appointments and so forth, we wouldn't need you. We could do all the billing right here from our offices in Fort Worth, Texas. We haven't done that since 1994 when we started licensing other people to do it. So our job now is to show you how to do it. It's kind of like, yes, we could show you, we could fish for you and give you some fish, but we'd rather teach you how to fish.
Right.
That didn't come out right, did it? That's feed a man for a day or teach him to fish or something.
Yeah, I think people got the point. Yeah. So, folks, we're going to show you how to build those relationships. You don't want us to have those relationships with those doctors and then give those to you. We're going to show you how to build those relationships because remember, at the end of the day, you're going to be handling that doctor's money. I mean, just imagine that, we hand over a stranger to that doctor doing that, and that just wouldn't last very long. So We're going to show you, Ruby, how to do that and be very successful at getting in front of those doctors and making those contacts. You're going to be learning how to make those contacts, and it's not going to be difficult because we're going to be talking about marketing here in just a minute anyway. What about this one? I'm unclear of the details in setting up a business. Patrick, there are a lot of people, this is their first time to ever open up their own business.
Right. And folks, think about it this way. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. You've heard that before, right? Well, in our case, you are not by yourself because we have people who can hold your hand and teach you exactly what you need to do step by step. In the training class, Eric, our instructor, Cynthia, who lives in Arizona, she has her own medical billing business, has for 8 years. She comes in and shows you step by step how she did it. And reveals how to name your business, how to set up a particular type of entity like an LLC or a corporation or a partnership. We'll also talk about how to find people who can create your logo for very little money, what equipment is needed for the business. Basically, if you're watching this on a computer and have a cell phone, you've got all the equipment you need. Business cards, we tell you how to design the business cards correctly and not look kind of weird, and then of course even marketing materials. We provide all the marketing materials for you. You don't have to create anything from scratch.
Patrick, before we move on from this one, let's talk about this first one right here. I'm going to circle that one right there. And the important about this is that talk about the difference between the business opportunity versus a franchise, because some people might think that I need to carry the American business system's name.
Yeah, good point. Actually, folks, the great thing about our opportunity is that it is your own business. So we'll show you how to set up your own entity, whether it's just a individual proprietorship or a corporation or an LLC, and name that business whatever fits you. We'll give you even suggestions as to words to use and not use. And so you'll have your own company name. Now, you can also, on all of your literature, of course, put that you've been certified by the Medical Revenue Management Association of America, and put our logo on that. So that ties you in with us without using the American Business Systems name. And so anyway, we're going to show you how to tie into the nation's largest network of individual medical billing companies, but at the same time, you'll be your own company making your own decisions.
Yeah, just think of it, folks, as you're being powered by American Business Systems.
Yeah, I love it, Eric. That's, when you came up with that, I thought that's exactly what we do. We power behind the scenes each one of our individual licensees that are out there.
You bet. And so we've got different ways for you to get plugged in, whether it's through the ongoing training that we have. I mean, Patrick, we rarely even talk about that. We have continual education outside of the 5 days of training. Now, speaking of that, Jaya is asking the question, I'm a resident of Garland, Texas. Is the week-long training class at a designated location, or can it be accessed via the web?
And if it's a designated location, how that works with somebody who works full-time. Yep. Okay, so here's an example. Jai is obviously wanting to know, he wants to go through the training, but he can't take off the week. Now, we have trainings about every 6 weeks or so. Our next one is coming up next week, of course, but then after that, I think it's January the 29th, isn't it, Eric? 29th. But the point is that we hold those on a regular basis right here, Jai. Now, if you need to do some home study on your own, we have ways for you to do that as well. So just contact, again, your business coach, the person who sent you the email for this. Call us up. We'll put the phone number up here in just a moment, and just let us know that that's what you'd be interested in, and we'll tell you how we can work with you on that too. You bet. Now, you're very fortunate, Jai, because our training class is in Grapevine. Right. So you're in Garland. Yeah. Just let you know. Yeah, you're about very close. Yes, you are. You're a half hour away from where we actually hold the training, just north of the DFW airport. It's at a Marriott hotel there. Right. Okay, Eric. Yes, and I see a couple of other. Let me read these other while you continue on there. Yeah, absolutely. This one says, my friends and relatives say I shouldn't start my own business. This you like that picture I found, Eric? Well, it's not the one I expected, because the one I had up there was a little different than that one there. Now, here's why. In my mind, when I hear this, a relative, I always think of, okay, this is your brother-in-law. Right. and your brother-in-law is not somebody you want to take business advice from, probably, if he looks like this, at least. And, right. So the point is, folks, that sometimes your relatives are not as encouraging as they could be, because, well, gosh, if you get too successful, then that makes them look, not quite as successful. So maybe it's fear of you being, really very successful and making lots of money, and they don't. So all I'm saying, folks, is not that you couldn't get some advice. Make sure that you get advice from people who have had experience in business. If you have a relative that's owned their own business, then maybe that'd be a good person to talk to. Well, one of the things that we're going to share with you and teach you is about how to express to your friends and or your relatives really that this is not just a fly-by-night business. First of all, we've been in business going on 24 years, and we have ways in which we can show you how to show them about this business. And Patrick, we've actually heard from people who have used this slide presentation or the flip chart, and the relatives got excited and wanted to help get started with them. So yes, this is a great way. And then this next little slide here we're showing is really the credibility that actually comes with this. You want to talk about the book, New Thriving Medical Practice book? Yeah, Eric, can you go back to that slide, though? I want to talk about, we've never actually offered this, but I don't know why we couldn't share this with some of our people on the webinar today that are looking at getting into this business. This presentation would be ideal to go to your relatives or friends or somebody that you know, maybe even your own doctor, and go through this with them. Maybe they would help you raise the funds to get into the business. It's a very professional, like 20 different slides. As you can see, we can actually give you a PDF that you could print out, or you can put it on an iPad or a laptop and take it. And it goes through in detail why doctors will want to outsource their billing to you. That's one of the questions, by the way, that we have on here from David Pratt oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say your last name, but anyway, David is asking, why would a doctor want to give their billing to a startup versus the big billing companies? Eric, wasn't there a big billing company recently that just had some serious problems? One of the big ones out there. The point is, folks, that doctors want to deal with somebody who's local, somebody that's a business owner themselves, not some big entity somewhere that they call an 800 number and sometimes it's shifted over to India or the Philippines. They want to talk to somebody local. And so, David, I'm looking for it right now about some advantages of outsourcing, and I think I'll drop that in the handout there. So look for that here in just a second. I'll tell you when I've got it dropped in there, Eric.
Yeah, you bet. And then, so let's talk about real quickly. And then we're talking about still, you know, my friends and relatives said I shouldn't start my own business. Folks, what we've done here at ADS is not only through the slide that we showed this one, but also with what you're getting here as part of your marketing, which is going to be a book. And this book is going to have you as the one that has written the foreword to the book. And you can see the CMRM, that means Certified Medical Revenue Manager. And here is the part that's actually in the book. So folks, imagine that these types of tools that you're going to have, whether it's the slide presentation, whether it's the book, this is going to give you the credibility. So for David, just understand, this is the type of credibility that you're looking for.
Hey, I just dropped 2 different articles or PDF files in the handouts there, so everybody should go take a look at those as well. Well, and look, see that guy there? That's your brother-in-law, remember? When he sees your name on the front cover of a book as having written the foreword to a book, and of course we've already written the foreword, we just put your name in there and contact information, that's going to add huge credibility when you're talking to some of your friends and relatives about you being in business for yourself. Because once you've gone through our training, you are certified as a medical revenue manager. And then, of course, you have your name on the book there with a doctor. That should shut them up.
Absolutely. Yeah, you bet. Now, talking about marketing, let's get to that. Some people, again, Patrick, this is probably one of the biggest things that makes people take a deep breath, kind of have a little bit of caution here. I know nothing about sales. I know nothing about marketing.
In fact, that's a good thing, folks. We've had people come through our training who've had some background in sales and marketing, and they go out and try to reinvent the wheel. They do it their way, and they don't know how to follow our system. So it's better if you don't know anything about that, because we have ways of assisting you with, for example, we've spent $100,000 on developing marketing materials, including trade show displays and the book that you just saw and these flyers that we've got on the screen here. Folks, we make you look as professional as you possibly can be. And on top of that, of course, we have another book that's written by Dr. Vicki Ragnar, who co-authored the other book with me, called The Myth of the Rich Doctor, that will build credibility. Look what she says in this. Eric, would you mind reading her quote there right from the book?
Yeah, absolutely. So physicians in private practice will walk away from an average of 30% of their income. Outsourcing their medical billing could bring claim rejection rates as low as 2 to 5%. Now, this is very important for you to understand right there. There's where they're losing their money. She also goes on, this may be the fastest and easiest way to increase your cash flow. So imagine having a peer, which is a doctor, tell this to another doctor, and then her assisting you building this type of credibility.
You become partners with Dr. Vicki Ragnar. We've partnered with her. She's a retired general surgeon, by the way, saw thousands of patients during her time in private practice, outsourced her own billing, and now she speaks all over the country. Eric, she's right now in New York, actually speaking on this book, The Myth of the Rich Doctor. Doctors are flocking to these presentations because they know that it's a myth that they're rich. Most of them are not as well, they're not as rich as they'd like to be, I should put it. They don't, after spending, what, 12 years in college and 2 or 3 years in residency, they're still not making the kind of money that they thought they would, so they're coming to here. To have her say this to doctors is just awesome. And by the way, you can get your name branded on this book as well. So we've partnered you with a medical doctor, folks. It doesn't get any better than this.
How about this, Patrick? Yesterday was supposedly Giving Tuesday. How about we just make this Giving Wednesday? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. You can get a copy of this book in an e-format, like a PDF, if you'll get with your person that invited you to come to the webinar. Now, we're not going to make this out to everybody else, but if you're on the webinar today, you'd like a copy of this, get back with the person that brought you to the webinar, ask them to get you a copy of The Myth of the Rich Doctor. That way you can start learning. I mean, why not? I mean, Patrick, we're here to help people make their right decisions about getting into business that fits for them.
That's right. But we do want you to get back with the person who you're working with, because they've got a lot of other things that they can share with you as well, including that little flip chart, that little slide presentation that we mentioned earlier. Somebody's asking that question here. I think Guy is asking where he can get the slides. So I'm going to make that available to our business coaches here to be able to get that to you, Guy. Just get back with that person and ask them for the, let's see, what we call that, Eric. It's the warm market presentation. That's how you can ask for it.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. Ask for the warm market presentation. Now, one more thing about the marketing, that you're not left to yourself. This is, Patrick, whenever we talked about doing this about 4 or 5 years ago, this has launched our new licensees to greater heights and closing more deals than anything that we've ever done before. And that's us doing a live presentation of the software for our licensees at no additional fees.
Yeah, so think about it this way, folks. You run across a doctor that you give the book to, for example, and he says, yes, I'd like for you to do that free practice analysis that's talked about in the book. And you say, well, I'd be glad to do that. And let me set up for you and show you the presentation of the actual system that we'll be using, the electronic medical record system that you'll be using on an iPad, and how we do the billing behind the scenes using the practice management system called iClaim. We can show that demonstration to that doctor. If they just set aside 45 minutes or so, we'll go through that step by step, answer all their questions for you, and of course you're watching the presentation as well. Eric, it doesn't get any better than this, because about half the doctors that watch these demos end up doing business with our licensees. So we're practically doing everything, all the marketing and sales for the licensee, because the doctors are blown away when they see this demo, folks.
You bet. And then once you learn, to go through each of the steps. Now, I'll give a little preview of what we're going to talk about next week. Next week, we're going to be talking about our training classes. And one of the things we'll be sharing with you next week is really, how do you get in front of the doctor, and what are you going to learn about that? We're going to actually show you, as you'll see here, the title is learn how to get your first doctor by attending our live training workshop. That's the biggest part of what you're going to be learning out of that. So
yeah,
be thinking about those live training workshops. All right, setting up websites. Patrick, I don't know about you, but I've tried to set up websites before. I get stumped. I don't even know where to go.
Oh, listen, I don't know who came up with WordPress, but they should be hung. It is not a... Now, there are some easy-to-use sites out there, but, folks, you don't have to worry about that, because, as you can see, we have all the templates ready to go with all the information, all the graphics, everything, contact forms. It's already preset. All we do is put your name, your logo at the top, and your contact information, and boom, you are in business on the web. It's not that you're going to get a ton of business off your website, because if people don't know you're there, of course, especially, they're never going to go see it. But you've got to have one to be in business today. I think my light's going out here, Rick. I'm watching this. Either that or my house is haunted. But anyway, we have those already designed for you and ready to go. So you don't have to worry about that at all, folks.
You bet. Yes, so don't worry about the websites. And matter of fact, we got new templates that are coming out right after the first of the year, so pretty spectacular. All right, so you may be sitting there and you say, you know what, I really like this industry, but I don't have any background, I don't have any training in it. Now what do I do? I mean, a lot of people kind of get stunned by that.
Eric, I would say, what would you say, 95% of the people that we ask at the workshop, how many of you have a background in medical billing? There's very rarely anybody raise their hands. And when I ask them who has a background in the medical field at all, only 2 or 3 out of 25 people raise their hands. So, folks, that's a good thing, again, because you don't have to unlearn anything. We're going to teach you from scratch. When you leave that training workshop on Friday, you'll know more than 99% of all the medical people out there in the offices, office managers and doctors even, about this field and the medical billing field. We teach you everything you need to know to get started. Now, can we teach you everything that you possibly could ever know? No, that's why we have ongoing training. As Eric said, on Fridays, we do webinars for our licensees. Again, part of your licensing fee. You don't pay anything for those. You can attend those as long as you want to. We've been doing those for, 10 plus years at least.
Right. Patrick, as we're putting up some pictures here of the training class, and here's a picture of our support manager here. You know what? This might be a good time for you to play that little video clip that you showed me. Now,
okay.
folks,
Yeah.
Patrick just said that most people that come into our training class do not have a background in medicine. However, this video that Patrick's about to show you is going to be pretty impressive of listening to one that has been in medicine before. Listen to what they have to say.
Yeah, the first one is from a doctor who's been in practice for 30 years, and he's decided to get involved in this business. That should, uh-oh, did I put birds above my head?
You did. You got birds above your head.
Sorry, that's part of the program I'm going to use to...
You and your Twitter account. That's what that is. That's
showing that I'm getting Twitters right now. Okay, here comes the video. I'll turn up the volume here.
Hi, my name is Dr. Wayne Peterman. I'm a 30-year veteran in the healthcare industry and looking to get into the revenue cycle management business. And I chose American Business Systems due to its professional, seamless integration, and really just a wonderful, wonderful system for a lot of doctors out there who are experiencing challenges in their practices. American Business Systems has solutions for them.
Good afternoon, my name is Jamara Basham, and I just got my certification, and I am super excited. I was a little apprehensive that ABS did, but I am pleased to say that they thought about every single tactic to help me to be successful. So all I have to do is copy and paste, and I am ready to get out there and take this place by storm. Stay tuned.
My name is John Asalvo, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Deborah. We both just graduated the class, and I can tell you right now, it is absolutely mind-blowing the amount of support that ABS gives us licensees, and the training is exceptional. Learned a lot more than I thought I even knew coming in. So thank you.
All right, hey guys, this is Clay Freeman. I really want to thank Cynthia for all of her time, ABS for their backing us. What I got this week was pretty much everything I need to go out and start my business and be successful. If anybody's watching this and is interested in doing this was a phenomenal program. If you have fear that you can't do it, I understand. None of us have ever started our own businesses, but with the backing that we got and the training we got this week, anybody can do this. So I wish you the best of luck. Thanks again.
Hi everyone, this is Foshel Kazir from Columbus, Ohio. Anyone out there that's seen this video, that's going to see the video or seen the webinar, you definitely have to come. Don't miss your chance. This is the place to be if you want to start something for yourself. This is the place to be. All right, bye-bye. Thank you.
Okay, so we had a great time. Cynthia was an excellent teacher, presenter, and I learned a lot.
Hello, this is Denise Smith. I just completed my ABS training. I'm now a certified revenue manager, and I had a wonderful time here. Not only did I learn everything I needed to start the business, I also made some great friends.
Well, my name is Austin Morse, and I just want to thank ABS, Patrick Phillips, Adam Phillips, and the whole team. Also the trainer, Cynthia, she did a wonderful job. Been through a lot of corporate training events, and this was by far the most thorough. It was highly efficient, well organized, and ABS delivered everything that they promised from the very beginning. So I'm looking forward to getting out into my community, seeing what I can do, and helping people out, and helping the healthcare system in America get better. Thanks.
Hi. The class was a very good class. So I was saying lots of information in a short period of time, but all good information. And it's great that the website is available to reinforce those that information learned this week, and that the ABS is there to respond to questions, and certainly in a timely manner. Great instructor, and Cynthia and Eric, I appreciated the support that you gave along the way to get me here. So thanks a lot.
Hi, I'm Jessie Boger. I'm a new licensee, and I just finished my week of training with Cynthia, who is wonderful. And it's really worth it to come out to the in-person training because you get to meet a lot of people who are at the same point you are. So you get to learn a lot of different ways to market and see that you're not alone in starting a new business, and everybody struggles just like you do. Thank you so much, ABS.
So it's been an amazing week. I had a lot of fun. I definitely want to say thank you to Jason because he was absolutely amazing. Patrick and Cynthia is the best. So definitely come on down, learn what you have to do, and take your future into your hand and make something of yourself.
Hi, I'm Pete Ballesteri. I'm a new licensee, and I just wanted to say thank you to Patrick and the whole ABS team, especially Cynthia, our instructor, our presenter. I think it really helped a great deal that we were able to learn from somebody that's actually been through it, and Cynthia was tremendous at providing us with all the tools we needed to get started. So thank you very much.
I would say thank you for a wonderful, informative week. It has taken away all of my insecurities. I'm excited to get started, and good luck to my fellow certified medical revenue managers.
Okay, well, there you are. Eric?
I'm here.
Why is that bird coming out of my mouth every once in a while? Look at that. Well, anyway, I thought I would. We haven't edited that completely and put people's names on there or anything. That was actually, somebody's asking, well, how are those speaking in the video doing after graduating? Well, they just graduated, so it's kind of hard for us to know at this point. Folks, some people take, 30, 60, 90 days. Some people longer than that, a year, six months, a year to get their first client, depending on whether they're full-time or part-time. But the point is that that's our goal as a company, is to get everybody out there as successful as they want to be.
You bet. Hey, speaking of that, your volume's a little bit loud. I think you had to turn that up a little bit for the video, just so that so you don't glare everybody out there. All right, so let's keep going. We've got about 10 more minutes to go, and let's see if we can get this wrapped up here. Patrick, another one is, I don't know anyone who could advise or support me once I get the business started. Now, I think we've heard from those that were here on the video. They're saying that they know about the support and the continuance of the support.
Yeah, and you really won't experience that, of course, until you've graduated and gotten out there and started calling and emailing us. But, folks, we can assure you that you can call our number anytime you want to. Press 2 for support, and you'll get somebody that answers the phone. We are immediately responding to people. We return calls within a couple of hours if we are all tied up with other people. But the point is, folks, you've got somebody to reach out to. You're not by yourself. And that's a scary feeling when you start your own business by yourself. Eric, my wife and I started this business back in the late 80s, and we didn't have anybody, so it was kind of scary.
You bet. It can be very, very, very scary whenever you're not you're out there just doing it all on yourself. And this is a quick snapshot of something that's right off of our website right there. You can see we keep this thing up to date. November the 28th, 2017. We're always adding new things up on our website continually on the licensing.
I can't see the dates on there, Eric. Let me blow up the screen here where I can see that. But as you can see on the right-hand side there, folks, we've archived this. It actually goes past what you can see there, which is what, December of 2015. So, folks, there are hundreds of posts on this website. Every one of those menus up at the top have a dozen or more different choices. We've got documents, videos, links. we keep people educated on this because, well, you have to in any business, and we just do all that for you. That's a part of your ongoing support from ABS.
You bet. You bet. So now some people have asked, what if I don't want to hire and deal with employees? Well, I guess, again, you can hire some sales reps here. Uh-oh, did I lose you? I think...
Sorry, I muted because I was coughing.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. I saw your mouth moving. I wanted to make sure we get you back on.
We're going to show you how to find people who love to sell. There are people out there, and they work straight commission. We're going to show you how to find them and hire them. And yes, we have training materials for them and videos that are just training them. And we have all the agreements and contracts worked out. Folks, we've done everything for you. And for your data entry on the back side, we're going to show you how to find people in your area that are willing to do all the data entry for you. Now, at first, you'll want to do that yourself, right? But after you've done about 423,000 claims, you'll say, you know what? I bet I could pay somebody $10 an hour to do this for me. And we'll show you how to find those people, again, as contract people, not employees. You don't have to deal with taxes or anything like that. Basically, you just pay them the money that you told them that you're going to pay them, and they have to handle their own taxes. But the great thing is that you can find those people, and they can work from their homes because, again, it's a cloud-based system.
Right. You bet. All right. Now, some people might be thinking, what about territories? Am I going to have to be locked in on a specific zip code, county, city? Where are we at? I guess.
Definitely, we have a territory. Here it is. It's the United States of America. Folks, there's no special licensing or anything, certification to do medical billing for any doctor anywhere in the United States, including Hawaii and Alaska. That is the same system, the same forms. Everything is exactly the same from state to state. So we have licensees, Eric, as you know, that some of them don't have any license clients in their own area. They got a reference from somebody that was out of state. They signed them up, and that doctor had another reference in another state, and it just grew. And so we'll teach you how to do that, but you don't have to be worried about restricting the territories, folks. It's wide open, and there's lots of doctors out there that need help.
You bet. Folks, we're just about to wrap everything up, and there's a few questions that hopefully we'll be able to get to those right before we get to the top of the hour. But we're on our last one right here, and that is, what if I get started and I don't like the business? Now, Patrick, this is very important and near and dear to you.
Yes, because I've always said that if you can, look, Eric, you and I could be telling people anything right now, right? I mean, of course we want people to join our network, right, and sign up with us. So we could be saying anything. Folks, don't believe a thing Eric says. Now, me, you can trust me. No, the point is you may not even can trust me. Who knows? You don't know me that well, right? But here's the assurance that you have. If you, first of all, you do have to come up with the funds and invest with us and sign the paperwork and so forth to come to our training. We're not going to let you come if we don't know if you even have the funds. But once you're here, if you go through this training, and as it says right here on the screen, for any reason at the end of this training, you just don't feel like this is the right business for you, you've seen everything. We've opened up our hearts and our books to you. We've given you all the handouts and the manual and the materials and everything, and you still don't feel this is right for you, just tell somebody at the end of the class, one of my staff members, and we'll make sure that you get a full refund, 100% of your money back. Now, I don't know many companies that are willing to do that, Eric. We're opening ourselves up. Of course, people could take advantage of that, right? But we've only given money back to a handful of people in 24 years. So I keep saying 24. It's 24 next year, isn't it?
Yes, in just a little over a month. Yes, 24 years.
When we say you get started and don't like it, what we mean, folks, is if you see everything, all the proprietary information we share during that week, and if for some reason by the end of that week you go, I still don't like it, we give you all your money back. We'll part as friends, and there'll be something else out there that you will be interested in. But that's one way to know for sure.
Yeah, you bet.